Hello traders, and welcome to today's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency update. So in today's video, we are of course going to be going over some of the recent price action we've had on Bitcoin, and then still looking towards the future and seeing if price could still potentially move up into this red zone that we do have up here, which I do believe is going to be major resistance and a region where I will be looking for potential swing short positions, or at the very least take off a lot of risk on the long exposure that I am currently in, because the longer that this is going on, the more it is starting to look like a distribution type event. Okay, so please do hit this like button, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll get straight into the analysis. So the past day, okay, has been kind of interesting. Although the price didn't really do that much on a higher time frame perspective, it was quite an interesting day, and there were some good trades that you could have taken from this. So we can see here, of course, going back onto Monday, we can see the Monday low and the Monday high. And then what we had on Tuesday was just this inside day start to form where neither the high or the low was taken out. So price contained within the previous day's price action for the entire day. So we had that move down overnight. We came into it in the morning and we were looking for this move up on yesterday's update to potentially take out these highs. That's why I had this alert set there. We never really got there. Okay, we started to form some bearish divergences up at these highs. We dropped down into VWAP, made a lower high coming into that golden pocket region. Again, started to build some more divergences there, and then that started to drop, and we just spent the rest of the day just chopping around the VWAP and the point of control. Okay, so just because of the exhaustion and the weakness that we're starting to see, that loss of momentum, price was never really able to get up there, which then eventually did lead us to kind of come down and search for liquidity down at the lows, in order to maybe still be able to come up and take these highs. So yeah, kind of an interesting day, but still very much contained within that Monday price action. But what we had on the daily open was really interesting. So if I do just come in here, I won't change the time frame, but you can kind of see it here. The point of control of this range and the VWAP being this blue line. So what you often see towards the end of a session is price will either be attracted towards VWAP or will repel away from VWAP at the end of the session, and that sets you up for various trade scenarios going into a new day or a new session. Okay, so what you often get, if price repels away from VWAP towards the end of a session, you will normally see that move up towards where the VWAP close was, and then you can take trades off of that. Or in this instance, you see price attracted towards it at the end of the session, so you can see these 3 half-hour candles pulling back in towards that VWAP, towards that point of control, and then immediately as you get that daily open, price then just moves away from it straight away. Okay, so you have that big open drive off of the daily open after being rejected at VWAP and the point of control, and then that came down, took out the Monday lows, taking the liquidity, taking the stops at the Monday lows before getting that bounce back in towards value area. And now what we can see here is price just holding around this VWAP of today's session and the value area low of this range. So basically value area low of this range being down here, and value area low of the kind of the previous day as well, which is where price is just currently holding at the moment. So I have taken a long position from this little drop down that we had earlier. And then you basically, come back into daily open, and that's a really good opportunity to take profits on that, and potentially even short positions if we are going to see this being a bit more of kind of rolling over. There is still the potential that that could play out. So right now, the resistance is really clear on Bitcoin. I mean, it's really, really obvious. So if we do just pull this point of control across, this hasn't actually changed. So you pull this across, there's your point of control. That is the resistance that Bitcoin has to get through if we are going to stand any chance of price coming up towards these higher targets, taking out the Monday high, hitting these alerts, coming into this red zone. Okay, so this is the resistance it's got to break through. So we can see here, yesterday price rejecting off of it, getting that move down, taking the liquidity, you come straight back into it and it can't flip it. So we're searching again, come down into VWAP, taking out these stops. And again, we're then caught at this daily open. So even potentially here, making this lower high, could this roll over? Maybe, but we had that liquidity. We had that little bounce that we had there. And ideally, what we've got to see price do at this stage is to get that bounce, take out this point of control, hold this daily open, and then we can be looking for a move up towards the Monday highs and this red zone up here. But at the moment, we're not really seeing that kind of strength. So we've got to be cautious and got to be aware that this could start to roll over. We could be taking out these lows again, unless we can claim that point of control, can claim that daily open, and then we can start to look towards these highs again. So that's the scenario that I'm playing right now. I do think that would be the one that I would most like to trade. So if we can get that move up, can claim this point of control, then this is where I'm going to start to look for short positions. So that's basically the way that I'm positioned at the moment, is for this scenario to be playing out. Now, I won't go over too much about the alternate scenarios, but if we do drop lower, then of course you do have the yearly open, and then we've got our single prints down here. And there's some good little scalpy levels to be had, but ultimately if we do start to roll over from this point, then this is kind of weak, and it is showing a major lack of momentum, and I would expect this whole move to be retraced. So if we cannot come up here, I do think this whole move will be retraced anyway, but I would rather take short positions from up here than to get into them too early around here, before we are looking for this bigger move down. So yeah, that's basically the price action that we've had locally. I can go over onto the TPO and we can just quickly explain what else we have going on here. So we can see here, and this is why it still feels to me like we're going through a bit more of a distribution. However, I do think that these highs can still get taken, is that price is just very much contained within value area right now. We had that big move up on Monday. Then price for the whole of yesterday just forming this really nice kind of even distribution across the whole day. VWAP very flat, point of control right in the middle, a very, very balanced day. And of course you come down, take out the lows, and it would make sense at this point to come and take the highs. That is what you would more often than not like to see. But again, you've got to get through this previous day point of control in order to even start to think about that. So price at the moment, you can see previous day value area load here at 47,200 kind of region. You can see the amount of time we've spent below there. We had that little dip below, taking out the stops, coming down below the initial balance, and it's now just trying to hold once again as support to see if we can get that move higher. The other thing that we do have is within this range, we are seeing negative delta here in comparison to where we started. So we're seeing price is at a higher point than where we started off, but we are getting that negative delta there, which could mean that there is that potential bullish divergence starting to form at these lows for price to have one more push up. But on the flip side, you see that the larger traders here, so if we go into the VWAP here and we're having a look and we split this by trade size, you can see the larger traders here represented in the red, the smaller traders here represented in the blue. You can see they're not really interested in kind of pushing price up at this stage. It's very much the smaller trader that's buying right now. So this is showing weakness. This is showing that there is a distribution. However, there is still a strong possibility and probability that price can come up and take these highs before we do see a major reversal on this. So we will have to watch it. It's very much, like I say, is very, very balanced right now. If you are building short positions within this range, you have a good basis to be building that, because it does appear like there is a distribution and there is definite targets to the downside. Okay, you've got these points of control, you've got these single prints. I do think price is going to come down and visit these at some point. However, there is, if you are remaining patient, which is what I am doing, there is still that probability that we can come up, make, even within a distribution type event, we can make that like higher high, that final high, in order to kind of get that short position built, and then price kind of falls back into this range and then comes through it to the other side in order to then come down and take these targets later. So we'll have to see what happens there. It's looking kind of even. It's looking a pretty even fight right now. So for now, it's like scalp positions are basically what you need to be doing within this range. And yeah, if price does come up into this region, we know the resistance that is up there. We know what is there. It's the daily order block, fair value gap, monthly naked point of control. There's a lot of resistance up there. I do think that could be a major pivotal point in the market. But until there, I'm still just letting my long exposure run and trading this little range that we've got right now from more of a kind of scalp perspective. I don't really think there's anything else to be going over on Bitcoin. I've kind of repeated myself quite a lot. The other thing that we are seeing, okay, funding is going back into kind of that more neutral positive territory. So we're not seeing the spot premium that we had earlier. So again, that starts to point towards this being more of a distribution type event now that perpetuals have caught up with spot. We're not seeing that buying on spot exchanges anymore. This is all cooled down, and yeah, you're losing momentum here, definitely losing momentum, and that's why this point of control becomes very important. And it needs to be claimed if we are going to see these higher prices. Uh, Altcoins, there's not really much else to report on the alts. I'm still just, because we're in this range, they're all just still performing on merit. So you're getting some that are pulling back against Bitcoin, some that are having some really nice moves against Bitcoin. The ones that we've been in, the ones that I'm still letting run, are of course Sushi VeChain. They're still going really nicely. Okay, Sushi still kind of moving up over the past day from where we entered all the way down here. So we're up like 56% on Sushi at the moment. VeChain, I think we're up almost like 100% right now from entry. Yeah, we're looking at like 94% here from entry. And then there's a couple of short positions as well. So although there is quite a lot of long exposure going on, I have got into a couple of short positions. One of those being Waves. Now, I did post this yesterday and I got stopped out of the initial trade off of this, but I have since re-entered, and I'm still looking for basically the same kind of idea from this. So what we had yesterday, we had what looked like a kind of a nice like buying climax with some good volume up at the highs. And then we fell down into like a previous little range here. So I took a short from this golden pocket region, coming back into this zone here. Got a take profit at VWAP, but then of course what I tend to do, especially when things are so bullish, is put my stop loss at break even. That got stopped out. We then made a higher high again, came into this 1.618 region at $58. And then as soon as price came back down, so I woke up and saw the price had got caught below this wick again, I took a short position from here. Basically, yeah, this being like a big deviation, big kind of swing fader pattern deviation. Price gets caught here, and then you can look for, once again, lower prices. So that does increase the probability that we're going to come down and take out these lows. So we'll have to see how that goes. It's kind of risky shorting something that is like in such a crazy uptrend. However, again, those degen plays are sometimes kind of fun to play, and it's very low risk. It's yeah, you're not really losing too much if the way that I tend to trade it anyway. It's low risk, low position size, and just with potential for there being very high reward if you can catch it. The only other short that I am in currently would be AVAX. No, AXS, that's the one. So this is the short position that we did mention last week, that I did have some limit orders here. So they came, of course, came and got filled on the Monday. And that was one of the few ones that didn't get stopped out. So I did have a couple of shorts that did get stopped out, but we're basically we were looking for this trade for price to come back into here. After we had that high price to come back into here, I had taken that short position off of, whoa, there we go, off of this wick, looking at this as being like a deviation. You then change structure, come into this region, and then we're looking for price to move down basically to this point, and that's exactly what we've had. So that being a really nice little short position that we've had, hit take profit one on that, and the potential that this could start to come down even lower. We have targets down here of a short for like price could very easily come down to $52 again, and potentially even lower than that depending on what Bitcoin does. Yeah, other than that, there's not really anything. There are others that I've been looking at. CRV has been moving okay. DOT's still kind of creeping up towards those targets. EGLD is still performing quite well. But yeah, nothing else really to report on the altcoins. So yeah, I think that does wrap up the video. Let's just see if Bitcoin's doing anything interesting. We're back here at VWAP. I wonder if it's forming some bullish divergences here. Those are the kinds of things you want to be looking at locally, okay, because that's what kind of stopped us up at these highs. So if we are building these bullish divergences down at these lows, that could potentially give you enough absorption that we're seeing right now in order to get that reclaim of the daily open, reclaim of the point of control, and then push up towards the Monday high later on today. If not, of course, you lose this VWAP right now, it does look like we're going to be coming back down towards these lows again. So that's enough. I've spoken about this enough. I will, yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers. Bye.